Hello, I'm Sara Scott, and welcome to LUTV Sports Break. Here we will discuss interesting sports topics with our panel of sports reporters. With a crack of the bat, the Houston Astros are looking to #Take It Back. After a wild Game 6 in the American League Championship Series and the heroics of Jose Altuve, Houston punched back their ticket to the World Series. Now they face the underdog Washington Nationals. The Nationals walked into the Minute Maid Park and took Game 1 against the Houston Astros, 5-4. Panel, what city will have the championship parade, DC or H-Town, and will the series go to 7 games?
I think if the Astros straighten out their problems that they've had with hitting with runners in scoring position, I think Astros should have a great shot of taking their second World Series win.
I will say the Astros, this was their prime game to win because it's at home and Garrett Cole is pitching. I think they probably should have taken advantage of it, but I also know the Astros lost their first game in the last series, so they definitely can come back from it.
I actually, believe it or not, was not picking the Nationals to win the first game, but I figured they were well rested, so I feel like they had more of an advantage. And the Astros were coming off this big win with Jose Altuve, hitting a home run, and I feel like they're probably pumped up in their heads. And, they're not thinking a team like the Nationals can't beat us in our home, but they were well rested, and they came out last night and showed the world.
I think part of me did see a Nationals win coming in because they started off as the wild card team. They beat the Dodgers. They swept the St. Louis Cardinals. And at the end of the day, they have the momentum. Absolutely. They have the drive because nobody thought that they would get through all those rounds, especially past the Dodgers. Beating the Dodgers in the National League is huge. The Dodgers are the heavyweights of the National League, and for them to beat them in a way that they did, how could they not come in as like a really dangerous opponent for Houston?
And if you look at it, if you're watching the game and you're watching the clubhouse, everybody in there is picking each other up. They all are on one accord, and they're just sticking together. So them not winning, not being those heavy favorites, they don't believe it. They believe they can beat anybody, and they've shown against any pitcher that they can stack up the hits and get the runs to score. So
I feel like it's almost easier to be an underdog in these kind of situations. Like, there's a lot of pressure on the Astros. They came out, they didn't perform as well as they should have. They had all these expectations. Jose Altuve had all this hero stuff on him. So that's a hard mental game. And I feel like when you don't have that pressure, pitching looked great for the Nationals. They didn't have all that on them. Batting was good. Even Bregman admitted that they've been nervous in this game, and they swung at some really bad pitches. So I feel like that underdog mentality had a lot to do with their success yesterday.
Also, Juan Soto, have yourself a night.
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
ever want to hear anyone say because they're young that they can't show up to the World Series. That guy is 20 years old.
And the energy he brought added so much momentum to their squad.
Definitely
for sure.
A youngster carrying a team like that. Once you see a youngster doing it, it's like everybody wants to fall in line.
Yes.
And that's contagious, and that's just a great thing about the Nationals. I believe it's going to go to 7. Hopefully the Astros can bring it home. But the Nationals, man, they're not going to lay down for them.
Talking about Soto, his performance and what he brought to the team reminded me of George Springer 2017 World Series.
True. Yes.
The way that George Springer was able to basically be the leader, the hype man, the one who you count on. That's what Soto was doing last night.
And George Springer still did that last night for Houston as well. I mean, single-handedly tried to make a comeback with the RBI with Tucker and the solo home run. I mean, he did everything he could, but you can only do so much.
And Garrett Cole, he's been lost a game since May.
Yes.
So it's just
hasn't even had 2 home runs hit on him since the beginning of August.
Yes, he's been pretty much immortal. And last night he showed some.
He's human.
Yeah, he's human a little bit, and I feel like now he has something under his skin that's boiling. So next time he comes out,
I think he was due. He was due for a bad game, and we say bad game, but Garrett Cole's expectations are so high that even last night, without that bad inning, I mean, he pitched a great game. It was incredible. He's a great pitcher. He just had that bad inning where he just kept walking and walking, getting these hits. But the Nationals were doing something last night that we didn't do against the Yankees, but fortunately the Yankees didn't do this as well, is that they were hitting the vital balls. They were
Yes.
they were hitting the ball with runners in scoring position, and that's been the major problem with the Houston Astros throughout this whole postseason. Is that when there's the chance to take ahead, tie up the game last night.
They failed to convert their chances.
Yes,
You
I
know,
read
they
something
failed to
like
convert.
25 runners left on base or something last night. That
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
They
We
don't-
have to get those runs.
And I heard
Or
Alex
the
Bregman
Astros.
say that, Altuve, Will Harris, and Garrett Cole has been their best players, and they haven't really all played to their full potential. So I think we've yet to see the Astros play their best game this postseason, and hopefully they're saving it for this World Series because it's really winner.
I will say that also the Nationals did have that big break, so the Astros are still kind of tired. Do you guys feel like the Nationals are going to run out of gas in this series a little bit? They pitched 4 pitchers yesterday, including 2 starters. Do you think that that's a possibility as well?
I think that is a possibility because one thing, even though we didn't take the Astros didn't take the win, they hit through their bullpen. The Nationals had to send out their bullpen, their best bullpen, to contain our hitters.
For sure.
Like we had 10 hits, or the Astros had 10 hits last night, but we didn't have the crucial hits. But the Astros were hitting the ball.
Yes.
And the Washington Nationals, they had to put in their best pitchers, and I think that is a factor that'll go through the whole series.
agree.
Is fatigue with their bullpen.
And I think a good thing for the Astros is their bullpen is solid. I mean, of course, we saw that with the last series.
Yes.
Their bullpen basically won that series for them because they didn't have Greinke, they didn't have Verlander, they didn't have Cole. They had to use it. So, I mean, I think even though the Nationals might end up getting tired, I think their momentum is still going to carry them because there hasn't been a World Series game played at Washington, I think, since like 1933.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a party.
Yeah.
They're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
And I think that's really going to carry them. I don't see them getting worn out, but I do think it's going to be a great series.
Speaking of when they do play in Washington, do you guys think that since they're playing under the national rules, our pitchers batting, do you guys think that that's going to play a factor? Where are we going to put Alvarez in the lineup? What are we going to do? What do you guys think?
Hopefully our pitchers are going to do well. I think Greinke is going to have to bat, or whoever we put in after that is going to have to bat. I think it'll be definitely eye-opening to see how they do, but I think they'll do pretty well.
Well, thank you, panel. And thank you for tuning in to LUTV Sports Break. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for more Lamar University sports. We'll see you next time.